listening to Tab News. I'm your host, Jennifer Rash. Joining me today is Glenn Sandifer with Unforsaken Ministry. We have lots to unpack on Unforsaken, but Glenn, just to get us started, tell us a little bit about you. And we are here in Birmingham, so tell us a little bit about your connections to the Alabama Baptist and Tab Media Group, and then we'll jump into Unforsaken Ministry.
Awesome. Well, I was a pastor for 20 years. The last 3 years I was in Birmingham, but I have been connected with Alabama Baptist through some of the associational meetings that we would have when I was in Gordo, and I'd always see y'all at the conventions and stuff. But y'all have been a great friend and a great encouragement to our ministry. And I was telling somebody a while ago, whenever I have the chance, I promote Alabama Baptist newspaper.
Well, thank you.
I get it every week and at least peruse through it if I don't read it. But I love I'm very interested in the persecuted Christian section.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Just
know how to pray and know what's out there and be reminded.
If I don't read anything else in detail, I always read through those.
I've had several people tell me that, and we work hard to keep that in front of our readers. Yeah. We do the Alabama Baptist newspaper, and we do the Baptist paper, both print editions and as PDFs that are emailed. And then we have lots of content online, of course, constantly covering things. And then we have the radio show and the podcast. So we're really excited, and we love getting to just tell the story of all the great things happening out there. And Glenn, your ministry is one of those, Unforsaken Ministry. Yeah. Okay, what does that mean?
Well, Unforsaken Ministry was born out of my own struggles from years ago.
Okay.
Before I was a pastor with drug abuse. After I quit pastoring, didn't know what I was going to do. And a friend of ours' daughter was in jail in Tuscaloosa. And I went to court with them, and they let me take her to the Love Lady Center. She passed my name around in jail.
Okay.
As she was getting processed out, and I started getting calls from family members. I was already connected with the Love Lady. I've been teaching there on Tuesdays since 2019, since we moved back.
Okay.
Word of mouth, people heard what we were doing and would just get a call here and a call there, and that was through the summer of 22. And by August of 22, I was doing something almost every day.
Wow.
Picking up people, visiting people, people in addiction or their families. We were getting ready for the day one morning, and my wife looked at me and she said, "You're having fun, aren't you?"
Oh.
And I said, "I really feel like I'm doing ministry."
Right.
And she said, "You ought to just do it full time." And I said, "It doesn't pay anything." And she said, "We've never worried about money in the past. We're not going to start now." So we started the ministry. We are 501c3 nonprofit. We are supported through individuals, some churches, and we've been able to get some pretty nice grants. We're in the process right now of writing 4 grants coming up. Hopefully the money will be coming in the first of the year.
Okay, that's so good. So it's an addiction ministry, not in the sense that you bring someone who is suffering with addiction to a place that you have. It's that your ministry walks with people trying to get out of addiction. Is that a fair way to say it? Or the families of the people trying to get out?
Well, yeah, I call ourselves a resource ministry.
Resource, that's good. Okay.
Or a gap ministry. We partner with the Love Lady, the Foundry, Teen Challenge, Turning Point, Center of Hope up in Anniston. We partner with a lot of different rehabs. A lot of times people don't know where to even look.
Right.
And they'll call us and we'll tell them about the different rehabs that we know of. And we only really deal with long-term residential faith-based.
Okay, long-term residential faith-based.
We have come to the conclusion that mental, physical and spiritual, is how somebody can truly be made whole again. And if you leave out one of those, there's still an issue.
Really? Okay. Okay.
So anyway, that's what we do. I had a family call me yesterday morning, and he was in Mobile. Needed to get to Anniston, and I was not able to go to Mobile to get him. So he called a bus last night about 12 o'clock. Unforsaken bought his bus ticket to Anniston, and the place in Anniston is going to pick him up when he gets to Anniston, and Center of Hope is the name of that place. Most time we get in the car and we drive. I would rather do that because then I have some windshield time.
Okay.
And I can talk to them about Jesus, but just listen to their story. Listen to what they're willing to share. That's just the way I like to do it.
Yeah.
It gets long sometimes.
Right.
A couple of weeks ago, I went from Birmingham to Dadeville to Hartselle and back to Birmingham.
Wow.
The next day, I went to McMinnville, Tennessee, and back to Birmingham.
Okay.
So I get to visit with folks, and anytime we're picking, and we work with men and women, but anytime I pick up a female, I take two somebodies from the Love Lady Center with me.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to ride by myself with a female.
Right.
And so riding to get somebody, I still have to have two females.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah.
And so that's man, we've had some great conversations traveling up there, but it's also encouraging for the person we pick up when there's some ladies in the car that can tell them the ins and outs of what the Love Lady is or what rehab is. It's the way I like to do it.
Right,
People ask me all the time, do you have somebody else to drive? And I say no. I need somebody, but I don't know if I want to give that part of the ministry up.
I love that.
Because I like to get to know people, and I want them to know that Unforsaken is not a taxi service for people in addiction. We're here to walk with you. The mission statement is walking with those in addiction and their families through the journey of recovery. And so it's not, I'm going to pick you up and drop you off and not think about you again, so.
That's a lot. Wow, that's a long-term investment, and people in addiction struggle back and forth a lot of times. So you're committing for the long haul.
Yeah. Most people in addiction have tried to get out of addiction, and they've made promises to family members or to loved ones. This is the last time. This is the last time, and at some point, families usually go, I've heard all that before. I don't believe you. The heart of the ministry is we're not going to not believe you.
Wow.
We're always going to be there, walking with you, helping you where we can. Had a couple of folks that we invested in early on. One family in particular, she graduated from the Love Lady Center. We helped her get her teeth, her dentures. She and her husband moved down to Grand Bay. They both got jobs down there. She had her daughter, but she was able to get her two sons with her. Not with abuse of drugs, but they just hit some snags. Just because somebody's graduated from rehab, a lot of their fines and things they have to pay for their wrongdoings is still out there. So we've been walking with this family for about 3 years. We've paid their rent maybe a half a dozen times in 3 years. This month will probably be the last month because he is off probation.
Yay.
And he doesn't have
Oh,
to
wow.
pay any more money.
Wow.
If people don't have that, if it's a choice between paying your fines or paying rent, it's a hard choice, especially if you have a family. And if they don't pay their fines, they'll come looking for them, you know. So
It's almost a cycle they can't get out of without help.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of the frustrating thing for me is I see how I don't know where the balance is between making folks pay what they need to pay, but giving them enough leeway to be able to make a living,
right,
support their family without going back to doing or selling drugs.
Right.
You know.
Do you find that a majority, or I don't know what term to use here, but do a lot of the people who have made it through the rehab process and they're really trying, are they willing to figure it out if they have help, if somebody's helping them?
Absolutely.
So the desire's there, the initiative's there. Sometimes it's just there's just nothing to give now.
There's no encouragement.
And so encouragement's important too. Okay.
Nobody walks with them and speaks life into them.
And so it would be easy to fall back if you're not careful, right?
I mean, you're fresh out of rehab. You know you're doing well, but you get out there and your situations haven't changed. You know, you come out of rehab usually with what you went in with, which is nothing. And a lot of times the judges will put court cases off until they get out of rehab.
Okay.
One of the things we try to do is encourage them to take care of much of their legal stuff before they even go or while they're in there.
Okay.
Just because that's just another shoe waiting to drop on them when they get out. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you think, though, just what you're doing in general, just helping point those little things out like that of how the difference it could make and guiding and suggesting, could that be the difference in their success?
I think so. People who have strong support families seem to do better.
Okay.
A lot of times people in addiction don't have support families. Either the families have already written them off, you know, we burn bridges, and a lot of times the family has been part of the problem.
Okay.
You know,
right.
I mean, I've had people, you know, in their 30s, and I started doing drugs at 13 with my mom and dad.
Wow.
And
that doesn't even seem possible.
Right. Oh, it doesn't. And you know, she had a hard time realizing that it was really wrong because she'd been doing it with mom and dad who love her, who care about her, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
And so it's a deep rabbit hole. And every situation, I mean, there's no cookie cutter situation out there, and there's no cookie cutter remedy. You know, each person just walks down that road, and if there's people there when they run into the potholes in the road, so to speak, to help them, a lot of times they do better. But drugs is definitely, and alcohol, is so hard for people to get over. And the drugs that are out there now that weren't out there when I was in my, as my mom would call them, my dark years, they get a hold of you first time you take them. You know, you smoke them or whatever they do, and it's so devastating. People usually just start doing something as a party. They're not using drugs as an escape. It just starts off,
really?
I'm a party. You know, we're going to have a good time.
Wow.
But the drug addiction is not the problem. The drug addiction is a symptom.
Okay. Okay.
The problem for most is some emotional pain or trauma that they suffered, probably from somebody they should have been able to love and trust, that was never dealt with, or not dealt with, and
Interesting. Okay.
swept under the rug.
Right.
And I would say 99.9% of the people that I've dealt with, when I start talking about that, it helps make that connection.
Wow.
Because I suffered some emotional trauma when I was younger.
Okay.
And usually that emotional trauma is they don't feel loved or accepted. They're never good enough. Nothing they do is ever good enough. They're not worthy of acceptance. And when you get high, your mind says, well, I'm not hurting. Thing is, you're not feeling.
That's really what's happening.
And that's what's happening. And I think it even happens in your subconscious, that your subconscious goes, when you're high, you're accepted.
You don't feel the pain.
People love you. People, like to be around you. And it's a vicious cycle for a lot of folks. And for a lot of people in recovery, relapse is part of the journey. But if we're not willing to walk with them through the relapses, then we're wasting our time and energy helping them up front.
Makes sense. You're listening to Glenn Sandifer, Executive Director of Unforsaken Ministry, and we are talking about the resource ministry that he offers for people in addiction or families of people in addiction that are trying to walk through that struggle and find the other side, find success through rehabilitation programs, and then what all that means afterward. I'm Jennifer Rash, host of Tab News through Tab Media Group, which produces the Alabama Baptist and the Baptist Paper and all the online content you will want to read, the alabamabaptist.org, thebaptistpaper.org, and then we have our podcast and radio show here. Glenn has been sharing with us about how his ministry works and what it's like to just even understand a person in addiction. And then, Glenn, I'd like to pick up there with, you mentioned sometimes families just finally wear out, right? And they just finally go, you know what, you keep saying this, I'm done, I'm out. And so then you've got the person isolated from what might have been their support system. And then also, I know from personal experience and watching this in churches, multiple times people in addiction will show up on a church doorstep at their lowest point, most likely not meaning to do much more than just take care of whatever is happening at that moment, and thinking, okay, these are good church people, they will help me, which in a way I think is a really cool compliment that they find themselves at a doorstep of a church. But so many times, because there have been so much disappointment with past people who did not actually follow through with promises or try to get out of the situation, sometimes the church people are not as encouraging or welcoming. And again, you have to be careful in all of those pieces. How would you encourage individuals in general, families, friends, and then church congregations to deal with that person that shows up and you're just not sure?
Yeah. Man, that's a great question, and it's a good segue into the resource that we're trying to put together.
Very true.
Unforsaken is we're trying to put together a resource to be able to give to rural churches.
Yes.
And even go and help train them. We're applying for a grant through Sandifer that's going to help with that.
Good.
It's real easy to give somebody money and wave at them and say, I'll pray for you.
Mm-hmm.
But when we encounter somebody who needs help, I don't think it's just for that moment.
Wow.
I think it's a divine appointment by God.
Okay.
Because he tells us to minister to the hurting, to the outcast, to the downtrodden. What good does it do to see your brother hungry and tell him you'll pray for him, but you don't give him any bread? So that's, you can tell that's my heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if we could get churches when they have an opportunity, and opportunities show up all the time.
They really do.
You just have to look and know what you're looking for. But help meet their immediate need. But don't let that be all you do. Love them enough to say, now what can I do? Can I help you get to a rehab? Or would you go to a rehab if we could find you a rehab? A lot of times they'll go, well, I would, but I just can't afford it. Well,
what if we took that off the... Yeah.
That's where we come in.
Right,
and this grant with Sanford is actually, we're going to be able to help churches financially for a couple of years to pay those intake fees.
Fantastic.
And do those other things. I don't want us going to a community and doing this.
Okay.
I want the churches to do it. Because I want that church or that pastor or that person in that church, I want them to be the lighthouse.
Good.
Because I'm going to come in and I'm going to go back home.
Right.
And if you do that enough, people think, well, Jesus shows up, but then he's going to leave me.
Oh, wow.
So I don't think everybody is cut out to work with people in addiction, but some of us are.
Okay, that's
and in our church, when we encounter somebody like that, I think it's so important that you accept them as they are, where they are. Don't try to fix them. Don't tell them what they need to do and don't need to do. They already know.
Okay.
They really do. And a lot of the folks who are in addiction, they want to quit their addiction probably more than even their families want them to quit.
Wow.
But there's just no help, no hope. So love people where they are. Learn to listen. Quit telling people what they ought to do. And just accept them as they are. And build a relationship.
Okay.
You know, if you look at Jesus, he was always building relationships. And to me, relationship evangelism or relationship disciple making, it all comes back to the word relationship. And so build those relationships and be genuine. If you're not going to be genuine, then be genuinely not friendly.
Right.
But the majority of the people that I have dealt with in addiction are not bad people.
Right.
Every once in a while, you'll find someone who's really, really bad.
Okay.
But most of them are good people who made bad choices probably because of bad circumstances.
Right.
They didn't have anybody when they were making those choices to point them in a different direction. But they're not bad people. Most of them are really good people.
Oh, wow.
And I love, I'll see folks that are obviously struggling, and first thing comes to my mind is, man, those are my people.
Wow.
But I do think the church can have a great influence on a community, not just an individual, but a community. If the community finds out that somebody at that church really cares. And if we can get churches helping these people who are in addiction get connected with rehabs, but the churches continue to stay connected with them while they're in rehab. When they graduate, they already have a relationship with a faith family.
Wow, that's great.
So many times people will go and they get help and they do really well and they get out and they go home. Everybody knows them, especially in small towns. And this reputation comes with them. And sometimes it's just perceived, but sometimes it's real. If I walk in those doors, they're going to judge me. They're going to shun me. So if you already got that relationship with somebody in the church, when they come back, whoever that person is, that first Sunday morning, they need to be at the door going, hey, man, come on, you go to church with me today.
Yeah. Be willing to sit with them. Be willing to not be scared of them. Yeah, that's so good.
We all want community. And we're all going to find it somewhere.
Good point.
And if we aren't willing to be the community for those who are hurting, they're going to continue to hurt. But man, if we could get churches buying into this and making it a part of their mission statement for the church, which I think is very biblical, I believe that communities could be changed.
And with that, you're not saying just pamper and pet them and not expect anything. You're still putting in their responsibility on their part, accountability on their part. You're still pointing them and guiding them to resources, correct?
Oh, yeah, constantly.
And doing all of that, but you're just not being done with them if they don't always succeed on the first step, right?
Help them find a job.
Expect them to carry their part of this, right?
But, go speak on their behalf at somebody who owns a business.
Right.
And a lot of these folks, when they're given that second chance and they get a job, they'll be the best employees that people have ever hired.
Wow.
Not all the time.
Right.
But what I have discovered in our ministry is there is this spirit of gratitude when somebody's willing to reach out to them and hold their hand.
Okay.
Or give them advice. They're very grateful because they've never had anybody do that for them. And when they finally get a little bit of that, it's like, oh, wow, somebody cares. I am important. I do have value. Wow. I'm not worthless. In this resource that we're making, and it's really just my scattered thoughts as I get them, because I send them to you, and I'm sure you go.
They're brilliant. They're brilliant.
But, just something small like, don't use the term addict.
Right.
That's not who they are.
Right.
They're someone created in the image of God who is bound up in addiction. But they are not an addict. Don't label them. Don't name them. And little things like that will make a world of difference.
Wow.
Make a world of difference.
Is there ever a time to cut it off?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've had to do that several times.
Okay.
When you try to help them, but they keep going right back to the same situation over and over and over, I can't do any more for you. I've tried. I have one lady that I know I picked her up 2 times from a drug place and a very abusive boyfriend. But she kept going back. But she wanted me to help pay the grocery bill or this. I said, no. I can't do any more for you because I'm not helping. I'm enabling. And there's a fine line between helping and enabling. And, man, I hate to tell somebody no. Man, I hate to tell somebody no.
That has to be hard.
It is. But sometimes I have to.
Yeah.
I had a lady a couple of weeks ago needed help with her rent. She was making $300 a month, but her rent was $895.
Oh my!
And I'm like, that doesn't even compute. But I couldn't help her because then I'd have to help her the next month and the next month.
Oh yeah.
And she really needs to go back into the facility until she can get a better job,
right?
And or find a different living situation.
She wasn't willing to really do that. So
we don't.
You have to make the call with that.
We don't take them to raise.
Yeah.
But we will walk with them.
So if they're wanting to find a way through, if they're looking for that person to hold their hand. You guys are right there ready.
Yeah,
This is us.
absolutely.
So if the churches could pick up on that, wow, you could just multiply your efforts.
Absolutely.
Crazy. Well, you've been listening to Glenn Sandifer with Unforsaken Ministry. You can find more information online, and think about bringing Glenn in to share with one of your groups. He does a great job. He can even preach a pretty good sermon. So however you want to use him, bring him on in. Unforsaken Ministry.
So the email is Glenn, Glenn, at Unforsaken Ministry, just one ministry, .org. Our phone number is 205-246-2030. Feel free to call. If we don't answer, please leave a message and we'll call you back.